summer of 2018, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And when I went to see my doctor, he said, well, before the diagnosis, my numbers, my PSA numbers were going up. And he said, well, let's check some things out. And he did some tests, and the numbers continued to rise. And so we did a biopsy, and they diagnosed me with prostate cancer in the summer of 2018. Cancer is always a word that you don't want to hear. But at the same time, I realized that over the years I had checked and I had been active in my prevention or preventative care or not, I shouldn't say preventative care, but making sure that each year I had my prostate tested, the PSA and the digital exam. And so I was confident that it wasn't something that had been there a long time. And so that gave me some relief. Making sure that I kept up on my screenings. And my grandfather, he had prostate cancer. I don't know if prostate cancer was what actually caused his death, but I'm sure it contributed. Well, there were several things that I had to take into consideration. Because of my age, I still consider myself young at 58. And so I wanted to make sure that I had the right treatment and that I looked at the long-term prognosis. What was life going to be like? And so the different treatments, I think they mean depending on my age, I would may have gone with a different treatment. But when I hear the word cancer, my wife, she said, we want surgery. I'm like, wait just a minute. Wait, can I, make a decision here or have some input? And, the more we talked about it, I said, I want to get it out of my body. I don't want to radiate it in my body if that's at all possible. And so I explored the different options. And when I looked at my age and talked with others that had either one treatment or the other, I made the decision that I would have radical prostatectomy. Basically the removal of the prostate gland. That means that the prostate gland is gone. And at the tests that were taken, it seemed as though the cancer was confined to the prostate, that there was no spreading. And so at first they said what we should do is just take out the prostate. And I said, well, what happens after that? And he said, well, that's it. I said, no radiation, no chemotherapy, nothing like that. He said, no, if we get it while it is confined to the prostate, then we'll just take the prostate out and that's it. And so I had asked him, my doctor, I said, well, if you radiate, they say that there's a certain percentage of a chance that it can come back. And they say also that if you take out the prostate, then there's a chance that it can come back. And I said, so I'm not understanding that. If we're taking out the cancer, then how can it come back? And he said, well, there's a possibility that cells can get loose as they're removing it, or that some cells actually did escape from the prostate. And so either way, there's a possibility that cancer can return. And so when I heard that, I recognized that nutrition really is an important factor, because he says, your body can fight off. We all have cancer cells. So your body can fight off a certain amount of the cancer. It just depends on how strong your body is. When I heard that, I was like, I need to make sure that my body is a lot stronger than it is currently. I was 316 pounds at that time, and I knew that my weight had contributed to a lot of my health issues. Had high blood pressure, diabetes, and then the cancer, and so and I know that my diet had contributed quite a bit, especially to the diabetes. A lot of processed foods, a lot of fried foods, cakes and cookies and donuts. When I would travel, donuts would be my go-to. I would always get a little package of donuts. I'm not talking about the single pack. I'm talking about the little $2 Little Debbie type donuts. And I would eat that type of stuff. And because when I travel, if I'm eating, I'm awake. And it keeps me awake. And so sometimes I would say, this is not so good. Maybe you should get sunflower seeds or something that's a little bit more healthy. I realized that if I did a journal on my eating, I would be writing all day long. Because I ate so much, and I didn't necessarily eat because I was stressed, or I just ate because I enjoyed eating. There was a time, I think, when I was diagnosed with the diabetes, that my back went out and I really had a lot of pain. And so I would just comfort myself, and I ate a lot of ice creams and just things that contributed to I believe, to my diabetes. And when I was diagnosed, my A1C level was 13, I think 13.6 or 13.8. But now my doctor's taken off diabetes. She says that we've reversed diabetes. I wanted to lose weight, and I would always. I've lost weight before, but never to this degree, and never with this type of determination. And so I think it really had to do with a culmination of how do you want to spend the rest of your life? Do you want more quality out of life? And whatever time you have, in order to have quality, you're going to have to make some changes. And it seems as though that the cancer diagnosis, the diabetes, the high blood pressure, the weight, all of that was a contributing factor to me saying, I want to be healthier than I am right now. And so it wasn't so much that the cancer scared me into losing weight. It was just a decision. It's time. And it seemed as though God had set all of this up, including being allowed to be in the Warrior program. It all just contributed to helping me make some changes that I know I needed to make. And for me, if I get a little bit of help, and I think that's one of the things that I want to try and do to help others, is allow them, or try to be there to help someone else who wants to make lifestyle changes, because it's not easy doing it by yourself. It wasn't so hard. It was just that it finally clicked. Um, if you eat this, this is what you get. If you eat something else, then this is what you can have. And so I had some times when I had to really wrestle with making sure that I didn't go to a point where I would relapse. In other words, go so hard and so strong that you really can't keep up that pace or that diet. And so I've never restricted myself to the point where if I wanted something, then I had it. If it was ice cream, I would have it in moderation. If it was some fried food, then I'd have a little bit of it. One of my favorite candies is peanut clusters. And so I could buy peanut clusters, but I would put it in the freezer and I would take out maybe a piece and have one peanut cluster, and then maybe 2 weeks before I had another, or a month. One of my members that makes excellent pound cakes, she made me a whole pound cake, and this was right at the beginning of me trying to, change my eating habits. I took that pound cake and I cut it up into pieces and I put it in the freezer, and I still have some today, and that's been almost a year ago. So, but I from time to time I'll cut a piece of it, and I'll have it. Vegetables and then fruit. For me, I really enjoy fruit, and as a diabetic, people say watch out for the sugars and all of that. And so as I've tested myself, it seems as though fruit doesn't have that type of, it doesn't spike my sugars or anything like that. I still need to make sure that I'm temperate in all things and not just go overboard with the fruit, but more fruits and vegetables. And I will make sure that vegetables take up a large portion of my plate. So the vegetables, it really helps, and just eating vegetables allows, there's more chewing, and you get this satisfaction out of it that not only does it taste good, but it's good for me. I feel great. The weight loss, the nutrition, the change in nutrition, all of my numbers, from my blood pressure is normal. My A1C is down to 5.6. My cholesterol, my triglycerides were at one point 300 and something, and 150 or below is normal. So all of my numbers are normal, except for the good cholesterol, and it's rising. So with the exercise, with the eating properly, my good cholesterol numbers are rising, and maybe next time I go to my doctor, then all of the numbers, including the good cholesterol, will be good. But I feel great. I really do. I haven't felt this good in years. It's wonderful, and I spend a lot of time with them, and there's just joy. When they see me, there's joy. When I see them, there's joy. So it's great. Thing is that I feel that with what I've learned about nutrition and what I have already known about nutrition, you can get a good meal and you can eat properly wherever you go. And so my wife and I, we have date night each week. And so on date night, if sometimes we go to like Dave and Buster's, and she's vegan, So they have an Impossible Burger, and I like I will eat all you can eat wings. And before, when I would go and eat all you can eat wings, I would eat all you can eat wings. But um, now I'm able to go and I eat the amount of wings that would satisfy me. Usually it's about 8 wings, and those are wing pieces. And then I'll have carrot sticks with that. But it's not, I'm not overeating, and at the same time, I'm not drastically changing my diet so that I'm craving for what I used to eat. If I used to enjoy it and it's not real bad for me, then I'll have some of it. But I've changed so that I don't eat so much pasta or processed pasta. If I have maybe a whole grain pasta, or if I eat rice, I usually will get brown rice. If I go to eat at the Chinese restaurant, I stay away from the noodles and the rice and things of that sort, and I eat a lot more of the vegetables, and it's satisfying. I have gone to a lot more water, so I would drink tons of water each day. But I would drink, I'll drink some diet cream soda. That's my favorite as a smooth. And I don't like the carbonation, so I shake it up until the carbonation is gone. And then it's just like a real smooth drink for me. But water's my go-to. My brother challenged me. He said, Bryan, I know you like Crystal Light and things like that. He said, but I want to challenge you to go for a whole month and drink nothing but water. And so I did that, and really it helped me to appreciate water more. And so water has been, it's really satisfying. I think the control, it's like a fast. And fasting allows you to have more control. And I wanted the Crystal Light. I wanted some of the cream soda. But in resisting that, I felt as though I had more control over what I put into my body. I could, I had more strength to make the choices that I wanted to make. Well, my doctor said this to me when I was diagnosed. He said, nobody wants cancer. He said, but if there's a cancer to have, the one that I have or had, that's the cancer to have. And so when I look at that, and I realize that nutrition is important in fighting any cancer. I had a cancer that was less aggressive. And so I really believe that if you're diagnosed with cancer, that nutrition helps. And even if you haven't been diagnosed with cancer, maybe you have a family member that's been diagnosed, it's time to make changes. Don't try and wait until the diagnosis comes to make those lifestyle changes, because the food that we eat, it feeds the cancer, or it feeds our body to be a host for cancer, or for it to become aggressive and to grow and expand. Nutrition, the proper nutrition allows your body to fight off not just cancer, but a lot of things that are bad, and prevent diabetes and heart disease and things of that sort. So nutrition is really important in, if you have been diagnosed, give your body a fighting chance, because if not, all you're trying to do is to medicate and hoping that the medication will do everything. And I just don't believe that medication is the answer to everything. I remember, I tell my members in church, I say, there was a woman who was eating sausage, and someone said, you know, that sausage is not good for your high blood pressure. And she said, it's okay. She said, I put a blood pressure pill in each sausage. and actually, that's the way that we kind of operate as far as our health. Instead of changing our diet so that our diet can fight the high blood pressure, or our diet can get rid of or reverse diabetes, we actually depend on the medicine and keep eating the same way. And that's what I was doing. I was eating the same way. I was on high blood pressure medicine. I was on diabetes medicine and eating the same way, and allowing the medicine to do what I should have been doing, which was change my diet, get the exercise, make sure that I eat nutritional food, and I was depending on medicine. Well, the Warrior program is a program that is through KU Medical Center, and they're studying whether a person that has a radical prostatectomy, that is trying to lose weight and that is obese and has radical prostatectomy, if their outcome is better than those who don't try to lose weight and change their eating behaviors. So I'm really grateful for the team, because, as I said, I think that I do much better when I have some support, and the Warrior program gave me a lot of support, and I really appreciate it because I was able to talk about some of the difficulties and talk with others who had gone through the same thing that I had gone through, and also got a lot of nutrition advice and classes for cooking. It didn't mean that I did everything that I was taught, but I believe that I made drastic changes that I believe are long-term and lifelong changes, and so it's been great to have that support. And the problem children end up, or who may not have the ability to just make a stand.
Could have, if given the right chance and opportunity, they have so much to offer. That's very heartbreaking.
So out of these three, what's your favorite thing to kind of snack on?
You said, what is my favorite?
Yeah, out of these three that you got down here,
This is my go-to. As a matter of fact, I can cook this, and it'll last me a week, and then I'll cook some more. It's low calorie and nutritional and easy to make. So. Well, no, I don't really do a lot of snacking anymore. I usually will eat a breakfast, or I may eat a bowl of this for breakfast, or I'll eat this with a protein for dinner, and so it's not much to it. Ooh.
Do you use spices more and seasonings and things like that? Is that your sodas in?
Right. Big carrot fan, so.
Now, how long will that cook for?
About 30 minutes on a real low heat. Mrs. Dash and some cayenne pepper. We need water. Sometimes I'll put a little bacon bits in there.